Dads, how far would you go for your daughter? When I found out my daughter had given up on her biggest dream to help me, I felt like a failure. Lily was always serious about photography. Ever since her mom gave her that Canon DSLR for her 12th birthday, she treated it like it was sacred. She took photos of everything. Light coming through the kitchen window, stray cats behind the grocery store, her mom before the chemo took her hair. Even at 16, she was still obsessed with documenting everything. I used to tease her about it. She'd roll her eyes but smile every time. I knew she was worried about my health. My heart problems came on fast and messed with everything. Bills piled up. I stopped working. Insurance only covered so much, but I thought I was shielding her from the worst of it, until I found the pawn shop receipt. It was folded up in a notebook on her desk. My stomach dropped before I even read it fully. Then I saw the item listed. Canon EOS 5D. That was her camera, the one her mother gave her, the one I promised she'd never lose. I sat on her bed for a long time just holding the receipt. My chest felt tight, a reminder of my heart problems. I went to the pawn shop the next morning. The guy behind the counter barely looked up before saying it had already been bought. Some photographer traveling through town, paid cash, no information left behind. I asked if there was any way to find out who it was. He said no. I went home feeling useless. I couldn't tell Lily I knew, so I started calling around. Asked some friends if they'd heard of any traveling photographers recently. One of them pointed me to a gallery downtown that had hosted a pop-up show the week before. I figured it was a long shot, but I had to try. The gallery was quiet when I walked in. I wandered for a bit before I found one photo that looked like it was taken with her camera. I asked the woman at the front if she knew where the photographer had gone. She said he'd already left town, said he was headed to some national park up north for a shoot. That was when I collapsed, right there on the gallery floor. Next thing I knew, I was in the hospital again, hooked up to machines. Lily was sitting in the chair next to my bed, trying to hide how scared she was. She asked why I had been at the gallery. I told her it was nothing, just browsing. I saw her eyes narrow a little, but she didn't ask more. A few nights later, I found the photographer's Instagram. He had a picture of the camera, her camera, hanging around his neck. The caption said he was heading to a remote spot in the mountains, something about catching the sunrise above the tree line. I stared at the post for an hour before deciding I was going. I left before Lily woke up, didn't tell the doctors, didn't bring anyone with me, just grabbed my keys and a jacket and started driving. The roads were winding and icy. My car started making noises halfway up. Eventually, it gave out completely. I was still a few miles from the cabin where the photographer was staying. I started walking. The snow was coming down steady. My legs hurt. Breathing was hard. My hands went numb fast, but I kept going. I had to. Every time I thought about turning back, I saw Lily's face the day she opened that camera, the way she cradled it like it was a piece of her mom. I couldn't let that slip away. When I finally reached the cabin, I could barely stand. The photographer looked shocked when he opened the door. I told him my name, told him why I was there, told him about my wife, about Lily. My voice cracked more than once. I wasn't trying to be dramatic. I just couldn't help it. He listened. Then he nodded and said, I could have it back. He asked for what he paid. I reached into my coat for my wallet and froze. My meds were in the glove box, in the car, miles back. I felt the panic rising but didn't say anything. I handed him the money, thanked him, and left. I made it maybe halfway down the trail before my legs gave out. Everything started to blur. The cold felt like it was inside my chest. I don't remember falling, just the white all around me. I woke up in another hospital. The room was quiet except for the beeping of machines. Lily was there, sitting beside the bed, the camera in her lap. Her eyes were red. She didn't yell. She didn't ask why. She just said, he told me everything. I started to apologize, but she shook her head and pulled out her laptop. She opened the memory card. The screen filled with photos. Her mom, from those last few weeks, laughing, writing, holding little signs with notes. I couldn't hold it together. I cried, right there in front of her, for the first time since my wife passed. In the weeks after, Lily set up a little studio in the living room. She started taking photos again, and every time she picked up that camera, I knew I'd do it all again if I had to.